Every day I have to tell myself that my son is not living. I have to look at pictures and think about good times without thinking about the bad that happened to my son. Sometimes as parents, we think about how we bring our kids up and how we raise our kids, and we expect them to always follow what we teach them and how much we went through to keep them out of things like this. I still don't understand how my son ended up around people like this, because everybody has some type of good in them. So obviously my son seen some good in Christopher Monroe. I didn't personally know him, so I cannot address the type of person that he was. But I know how I raised my son. And I raised my son to always be good and always be around good people. And I remember the call when I first found out that my son was murdered. I remember my reaction. I remember my thoughts. And I remember how angry I was.
And I just want to say that I hope every day you sit in there, you get treated like the disgusting monster you fucking are.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
In this courtroom, you guys talked a lot about the crime and everything like that, but I need to tell you about my sister. When we were blessed to have her come into our world, my mom brought her home. And she touched my finger and she just grabbed it. And I knew this is a bond. She blessed us with this child. When Jazmyne went to kindergarten with her Catholic school outfit, coming home, she used to sing those little Catholic school songs, the church songs, and it was so beautiful, even though she couldn't sing. But just hearing her praise God and just happy. Memories. I remember playing Uno with her, and I used to say she was cheating because she would change the rules, and she was saying to me, "Oh, sissy, it's just because you're 30 years older than me." Back then, when you were younger, there wasn't even TV after midnight. She's always had this.
The state of Ohio is asking that the defendant receive a sentence for a separate sentence for each of his victims, and that the sentence be life without parole for all of the people and the unborn that he killed and left. We ask for a 54-month firearm specification on each count. He has so greatly earned it with what he has done here. To everyone in that room and everyone in this room, thank you.
Anything else from the state?
No, Judge.
On behalf of the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, first we'd like to start out by indicating to these families that we are sorry for their loss, that this is a tragedy. As the court's aware, Mr. Silver also has a family. He has a daughter, a mother, brothers, and he's a high school graduate. He graduated from Glenville, played football there. Your Honor, throughout this process, he has maintained his innocence. We would ask the court respectfully to appoint appellate counsel. We'd ask the court to order the transcript at the state's expense. We'd ask the court to recognize that he's been incarcerated now throughout this process and that he's indigent. We'd ask the court to suspend any court costs. Your Honor, in addition, we would ask the court respectfully to run these counts concurrent and to give an opportunity at parole. Parole would give an opportunity for him while he's in prison to have an incentive and hope moving forward. And that's definitely a consideration for the community and for this honorable court. Your Honor, in addition, we'd ask the court as a matter of housekeeping to note our objection to the Reagan-Tokes law. And thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Silver, anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I would like to start by addressing the surviving family members of the victims from the top to the bottom of my heart. I sincerely send my condolences. I can't and I will not apologize for these charges or allegations. I'm not responsible for them. I did not kill those people or anyone else for that matter. But what I will apologize to you for is for everything you've all been through throughout this process. No parent should have to bury their child. I'm a father myself. I have an 8-year-old daughter. No family member and no friend should have to experience their loved ones being discovered in the state of decomposition that they were found in. I would also like to apologize for you all having to grieve this situation all over again. Due to the fact
To prison in 2 other cases. So I am familiar with your criminal history, which is essentially guns and drugs. I've considered the purposes and principles of sentencing. You have for street disrespect, you had hunted down and had to go through multiple abandoned houses to hunt down these 2 young men. And you did it in a manner and at a time when, and the evidence bears this out, that they would be unlikely to defend themselves, meaning that they were found in a state of undress, blankets over them, in possibly a time when they were sleeping. You carried out the executions of the 2 men, and when you saw the 2 women there, you decided, I'm not going to leave any witnesses. And even knowing that one visibly was pregnant and also pleaded with you, stating that she was pregnant, you decided to take both of their lives in order to hide your crime. You killed 4 people and an unborn baby. And the amount of shell casings that were found indicates the level of your resolve to make sure that they were dead and how many bullets were fired into their bodies. This is nothing short of a mass shooting. The sentence will be as follows. For counts 1, 3, 7, 9 and 10, for the aggravated murder of Dejuan, Willis, Christopher Monroe, Aiyanna Quitman, Jazmyne Lawson, and Jazmyne Lawson's unborn, I'm ordering a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. For count 16, I'm aggravated burglary, 10 years in prison. Count 28, the attempted murder of Mr. Reuben James, that's 11 years in prison. For the having weapons under disability, as I previously stated, this is 2 additional times that you have used and had a gun. That's 36 months for each of those counts. For counts 1, 7, and 28, I am imposing the 54-month firearm specifications. Those will all run consecutive to one another. Except for count 16, all counts will run consecutive to one another. I am imposing consecutive sentences, finding that the consecutive prison terms are necessary to punish you and protect the public from future crime. You've already demonstrated through your criminal history that you live by the gun. You had multiple gun-related convictions, including drug convictions, robbery, and protect the public from future crime. The consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of your conduct and to the danger that you pose to the public. And I'm specifically saying your conduct. I can tell you that the jury focused solely on the evidence in this case and the credibility of the witnesses. They were very good about separating the images that they saw and focusing on the evidence. And my sentence here today is based solely on your conduct. The fact that they were found 2 weeks later in that state, while horrendous, is not a factor in my sentence. I'm finding that one or more of the that 2 or more of the offenses were part of 1 or more courses of conduct, and the harm caused is so great or unusual that no single prison term would adequately reflect the seriousness of the conduct. So you specifically went out and hunted these 2 young men. Then to cover up your crimes, you killed 2 young women, one of which was pregnant. And then when somebody tried to call the police to let them know that the person that they thought was responsible for this crime, you then shot at him in order to again escape any responsibility for this. And then lastly, your criminal history demonstrates that consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you. The sentence then, adding that all up, the 13 years and 6 months of mandatory consecutive firearm specifications will be served prior and consecutive to 17 years to 22 and a half years on the underlying offenses, which is 30 years and 6 months to 36 years prior and consecutive to 5 terms of life without the possibility of parole. I'm going to go over because there's a life without the possibility of parole, I do not believe that I have to inform him of the SB 201. Is that accurate?
No objection.
Okay. The violent offender database.
No objection.
Okay, I'm going to skip that. Sir, you are ordered to be remanded. However, you will not be sent to Lorraine Correctional at this time because you do have another pending case that we do need to resolve. I'm going to explain to you your appellate rights. You have the right to an appeal of your case within 30 days after the filing of the court sentencing entry. If you are unable to pay for the cost of a transcript, the record, and all relevant documents required for the appeal, they would be provided to you without cost. If you are unable to pay for an appeal, you are entitled to have notice of an appeal filed without the payment of a filing fee. If you are unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, counsel will be appointed for you at no cost. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to impose the court costs and fees. You have a very long time in prison with which you can pay them, and every single time that your commissary has its funds deducted to pay off these court costs and fees, you should be reminded of the harm that you caused and the expense and the ripple effect that your actions caused, not only for the family members but also of this community. So you are to be remanded. However, you'll stay here pending resolution of your second case. Anything else for the record?
No, Judge, thank you.
Your Honor, we would just ask the court to note our objection to the consecutive sentences. We would ask the court respectfully to appoint appellate counsel and to order the transcript at the state's expense.
and respectfully ask the court to reconsider the court class as Mr. Silver is indigent. Thank you.
He does have the ability to pay. There's also the opportunity for work service, community work service within the prison. Your objections are noted for the record, and I will order a transcript at the state's expense as well as appoint appellate counsel. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.